Yes, y'all, you know what it is. It's that kids, them wives, and that 9 to 5. But we are married to the games. What is going down? 051. Yes, sir. We are slowly but surely making it. I don't know why I'm so excited about us being a year old. I think it's just because from all the talking that we did before we started this podcast, and then you kind of look back and you're like, oh my gosh, we're about to be a year old. And we're probably actually already a year old, considering we did the pilot like 3 times.
That's a very good point.
And it didn't go right the first couple times. So,
didn't we say at the beginning, like, oh, they'll never know how many times we tried to get this thing working?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Right out the window.
Yeah, exactly. So I spoiled that, but that's okay. It's your boy, Gabe Patillo, with Tim Router and Timothy Hall, of course. And as always, we are talking life and games and life. Thank you guys for being here. We are so appreciative of you guys stopping by and lending us your ear for a minute. We're going to jump right into it because we got a lot of things to talk about. We're freaking spoiling Bioshock Infinite at the end of this thing. Router's going to have to plug his ears because he hasn't played it yet. But we wanted to bring it to you guys since me and Hall beat it over this last week. Speaking of Hall, what is going down with your week?
Well, it was a pretty intense weekend. I picked up, actually, I went to Redbox because I was looking for the new Splinter Cell game, and I couldn't find it at any of them. So I was like, you know what? They got Infinite here, so I'm going to pick it up because I really need to play that anyway.
Can I just make a note, like, for anybody that pays attention to our Twitter, what you're about to say happened extremely fast.
What do you mean, like playing the game?
Yeah. He would like send out a tweet. He's like, oh yeah, I'm renting Bio Do What? Beat it, y'all. I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, it's like posted an hour later. Done. Credits.
With no picture though. So I was a little suspicious.
I know. We always end with a credit picture.
Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna go against the grain.
Oh, Hall.
Yeah, look at you.
Swimming
upstream.
I couldn't even do it. I couldn't even bring myself to do anything after beating that game, and we'll talk about why when we get to the spoiler cast.
Hall's report card does not play well with others. Oh, that's awesome. I'm sorry, Hall. Continue, please. So you picked it up Saturday, right, or Friday?
Yeah, I picked it up. Saturday early. So the best thing about Redbox is that you pick up a game like in the morning, and you don't have to return it until the next night at 9.
Right.
So I picked it up, I think, around noon. Didn't pick up a bag of Doritos with it. I was considering it, but I was like, dang.
They need to start putting vending machines right next to Redbox machines.
I know. Just put a Doritos vending machine right next to it, and Frito-Lay will be even more rich.
And then like a first aid kit next to it with like Pepto-Bismol and Band-Aids and Gas X.
Right down, first aid.
Just do it right down the line, man. Just do it right down the line.
It's like a quarter for friggin' Band-Aids.
Yeah. It starts with the game. Next is the food. Then is the emergency room. It's perfect.
Right. Yeah. A defibrillator.
Yeah. That actually, that would be perfect.
Right. It's in sequence.
That is funny.
Oh, goodness. Basically, it's just a line of things that just lead you right into the store. There you go.
Perfect.
Right.
Yeah, I think I got it at Walgreens. So,
nice.
The only thing I go to Walgreens for. Well, anyway, I brought it home and just started playing immediately. I think I just played it until night, that first night, I think. So I probably got about halfway through it the first night and then did the other half the next day. Yeah, man, that was an intense game and really couldn't put it down once I started playing it. It reminded me a lot of Uncharted in that way, in that when I just started going down that path, I couldn't stop kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh.
Did you do a bunch of this? Were there side missions? Did you do a bunch of the
kind of? There was like little optional objectives, but I was like, this is a rental. I'm just gonna get through the game.
Right.
So,
and they don't, for some reason, the importance of the optional things didn't feel that important to me.
Yeah, the optional things really didn't grab me. And then also, too, like going out and getting the gear really didn't grab me either. Basically, as you go through the game, you get little gear things that you can equip, like boots and shirt and just a couple other things.
Oh, I loved those.
Yeah, I mean, I get the idea behind them, but basically, I got them along the way. I didn't try to seek them out, and I had ones that I was happy with, so I was like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, do any of those help with your leveling up at all, or is it just based on?
Well, there's no leveling up really. There's no experience points or anything. It's just they're in little enhancements. So I had one, for instance, that when I meleeed a guy, he just like burst into flames. So I was like, I'm cool with this.
Yeah, use that the whole time.
Yeah, I was like,
awesome.
that's fine. I don't need to seek out anything else. I had another one too that like when I would shoot a dude and it would like basically cause an overkill, like he would just burst into electricity and electrocute everybody around him.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I was also like, yeah, that's fine. I'm good. So didn't really seek out anything else, like I said.
Sweet.
But yeah, that's it, man. Just beat it on Sunday and kind of let it soak in a little bit, and worked on music for the rest of the weekend. So that was my weekend in a nutshell.
You beat it in what, 14, 15 hours?
No, probably like 12. I think I did like 6 one day, 6 the next, or something.
Nice.
Like that.
Yeah.
It might have been more. I'm not really sure, but I mean, the game is I don't want to say it's linear because it's you do have some freedom to kind of go around and look, but I'm just playing this game and I'm thinking, my goodness, they spent so much time building this beautiful scenery, and I'm just running right through it.
I know.
Goodness, didn't they say that game cost about $200 million to make?
Ooh,
Lord have mercy.
It was something like that. Like it was extremely expensive, and it shows.
Yes,
my
it does.
Goodness.
That game is beautiful.
wow.
It
So,
is.
so we've been talking about how we've been delaying playing Bioshock, and now they made you believers, didn't they? You drank the Kool-Aid, boys.
Oh, I knew I would like it for sure. I
Lapped
mean,
it up off the ground. Anything I spilt, I licked up. I drank the Kool-Aid so much.
So, Gabe, real quickly before we get to you, I know when you played the first Bioshock, you said you just weren't feeling the controls. Is it massive improvement, or is it kind of the same as before?
Well, the controls still, like I said, I freaking started playing Blood Dragon in the middle of me playing. And I'm just
throw you off.
Yeah, I just like the Call of Duty controls. I know that's stupid, but I just do. And so it's almost like anything different from that I don't super like. So like, anyway, I could talk about it in a minute, but just how R1 and L1 work as like shooting and vigors with the left and right hand, I don't super love, but playing Dishonored and loving that game really helped with liking the controls of this game, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Okay.
Sorry, Hall. Was that it?
Yeah, total tangent. Sorry, Hall. So you did Bioshock Infinite, then did music. That's awesome.
that was it, man. I was looking around on the iPad because I was expecting there to be some sales. And
what the heck happened?
I have no idea, man. Because I was like seriously expecting like a blowout on stuff, and I was like, sweet, I can pick up some.
Yeah, Labor Day.
Labor Day weekend.
Exactly.
Somebody hook us up.
Yeah,
nobody.
Let's not labor. Let's play some games.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nobody had anything going on really. So I was pretty
Weird.
disappointed.
Me too. Router.
All work, brother. Even on Labor Day weekend, I was working. I've got to finish. I am so close. I've got these projects that I've got to get finished. So hopefully by the end of this week, I can really like take a break. I mean, I've been getting up every morning at between 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning.
Are you serious?
And working until 6 or 7.
Ugh.
I mean, it's just it's like I said before, and I'll say it again. It is a great problem to have. I love the fact that I have this problem, but it also really, really sucks. But there's light at the end of the tunnel. I did get to squeeze in just a little bit more of Infamous, and I know I feel like I've been playing Infamous for like a year, but I'm definitely very much close to the end. There's light at the end of the tunnel there.
You feel the ramp?
Yeah. So once I get that done, I may switch it, man. If you guys are digging Infinite that much, I may go out and buy that bad bear. And
There you go.
because I saw a price drop in it. Where did I see that price drop? It was somewhere. But I also have a gift card too, so
I think GameFly had it for $20.
I think you might be right.
That's a good price.
So yeah, so I've just been working, and still playing some Candy Crush.
Right there with you.
That's kind of like my cool down time. Like right before I go to bed, I'll play a little Candy Crush and a little bit more Badland. But yeah, I'm just a broken record for the past 3 weeks. Just not a whole lot going on. We did go out and do some shopping over the weekend, and I tweeted a few things. One was GameStop was doing, buy 2 pre-owned and you get another one free. And I flipped through because we were at the mall and Lauren went down to Pottery Barn. So me and Piper, she was asleep, so I just rolled her right into GameStop. It's like looking around, but honestly, like their selection really wasn't that great, and there wasn't anything that would entice me to buy 2 and get one free.
Yeah.
But and then we went over to Costco, and Costco is selling 250 gig Xbox 360s for $289 or $269.
Is that with the Kinect?
Oh, I did not look.
It probably is.
I passed by it really briefly, so I'll have to. Next time
I wonder
go
about
back
that because the regular price on those I think is $299. I don't remember.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was. I mean, they had stacks of them in there, and that's where I bought my PS3 back in the day. I mean, it just depends. Some months they'll have that kind of stuff, and sometimes they don't. But I thought that was pretty interesting. But yeah, other than that, man, just working.
There you go.
Do my thing, Mr. Patillo. You're up.
Yeah, just work. No, I'm just kidding.
Nice.
No, I kind of jumped around. Good weekend. Didn't have a show this last weekend because we kind of got home on Friday from doing a show or something like that. So, all good. Wait, we saw each other. On Saturday, we all met.
Oh, yeah, we did.
It feels like so long ago.
It really does. So Saturday, I just gotten back, or the day before that, I had just gotten back from the road. Did the whole Virginia to Nebraska thing that I talked about last week. That was, thrilling. And it was one of those things, though. We went to Nebraska to do this state fair, and I had to drive 2 hours from a place called North Platte to Grand Island, Nebraska. Only my people from Nebraska will understand what I'm talking about. But on the way, there's this little town called Kearney, and Kearney has an arcade. So I stopped in there and played some House of the Dead 3. It was awesome.
Oh, nice.
That's a great one.
And if I didn't have to leave, I could have beat that game. Like, you know how you go to some arcades and you're like, man, they've got this gun freaking dialed in. And it's like everywhere I shot was right. And I was like, oh, I could beat this game. But I
Love
didn't
that feeling.
Yes, but I didn't have the time. It's like when you go to the movie theater and you got there a little too early and you're like, oh man, what am I going to do? And you look over and there's a police trainer staring you in the face. You're like, oh snap, police trainer. And then you go and everything's just dialed in. You're like, oh yes, man, forget the movie. So
That's great.
Yeah, anyway.
That's good.
And then obviously along with Hall, I beat Bioshock Infinite the other night. My wife has been, I don't know if it's that my wife has been a champ or just that I've been able to find some time, but beat Blood Dragon as well over the weekend, this last week.
Crushing it, man.
Well, Blood Dragon's not that long. And so the thing, I made the game longer probably by liberating all the forts just because that's my favorite thing to do.
I love
But you definitely don't have to do that.
I definitely didn't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we all know Hall definitely did not do that. I think that's a given.
Yeah. So that was fun. And then Bioshock, I mean, the game's awesome. The things I can say outside of the spoiler is just that the game's incredible and it looks amazing. The voice acting is off the chain. The story arc, it gets pretty confusing. That's why I was like really happy to beat it. I was like, oh good, I'll get to talk to Hall about it, and Hall's smart and he can explain it to me. So that'll be half the spoiler is Hall taking me to school on exactly what happened. Yeah, it was great. So good weekend. My wife's birthday was yesterday. So shout outs,
Happy
even though she's not
birthday.
listening. So yeah, that was fun. Went out with Lauren and the girls last night. So
Yeah,
she
they
said she
all
had a good
went out.
time. So that's me. Router, do it to it.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, grab your crucifixes. Diablo 3 is now out in consoles.
That was good.
Grab your
Thank you.
crucifixes. I like that.
Diablo 3, Xbox 360, PS3. Never thought I'd say that. Released this week.
And that commercial is pretty funny. I don't know if people have seen the commercial.
I do
mean,
like
it's
that
a little
commercial.
risque, but a guy comes home. He hears some, shenanigans going on upstairs. He sees clothes all over the steps. His wife is upstairs with a visitor, and he goes upstairs, and it's her and two other people in full cosplay.
Yeah, that was
playing
great.
Diablo 3.
Yep.
That is funny.
My favorite is at the end when he comes in, he's like, I probably should put some pants on.
Yeah, one of the other guys. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite part. It was
Oh,
great.
goodness.
So anyway, yes, that's very, very cool. Diablo 3 is out. A couple other releases. Arcania, The Complete Tale for Xbox 360. Rayman Legends is out for all consoles. Farming Simulator for PlayStation and Xbox.
Wow.
Game of the week.
There you go. Yes, I agree.
Golly. That's what it's called?
Farming Simulator.
They're not trying to sell any of those. Not if you call it a farm. It's like paint dry simulator.
Also, too, they kind of want to tell people what it is, and they pretty much just hit it right on the mark.
Yeah, I wonder what this game's all about.
Marketing 101.
Yeah. Let's see what else. We've got Kickbeat for the Vita and PS3. Lego Legends of Shima, Laval's Journey for the DS. One Piece, Pirate Warriors 2. Total War, Rome 2 for the PC. Freefall Racers for Xbox 360 and Outlast for PC.
Man, a lot of stuff came out this week.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of some releases. It is fall time. It is release time, people.
Yeah, it's
So,
going to start ramping up here.
Yes, it will. Everybody wants to get that third quarter in before fourth quarter really hits and all the AAA games come out.
Sweet.
Alrighty. Top selling games for the week ending August 24th. So this was last week. So
Starting at 10.
That's right. Starting at 10. The Bureau, XCOM Declassified for PS3.
Number 10?
Yep.
Huh.
Number 9. And you'll know why in a second. Number 9, Disney Infinity for the Wii U.
Oh.
Number 8, XCOM Declassified for the 360.
Ah. That makes sense.
Number 7, Disney Infinity for the PS3. Number 6, Disney Infinity for the Wii.
No way.
Number 5, Disney Infinity for Xbox 360.
No way.
Basically, Disney Infinity took from 5 up, basically almost all the spots with the exception of 2 on all consoles. That's pretty incredible. All consoles of the
Including the Wii.
including the Wii.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Not the
And
Wii U.
No, the sad thing is the Wii U was the lowest one at number 9. The Wii was number 6.
Oh my gosh.
But listen to these numbers. So the Wii U for Disney Infinity did 33 units. For the Wii,
33,000.
I'm sorry, 33,000. Sorry. For the Wii, 79,000 units.
Wow.
Double.
That's funny.
Double. Poor Wii U. Oh, do we need to just take it out back? Is that what we have to end up doing?
No.
No, the reason it sold a ton on Wii, I'm sure, is because the parents were like, you don't need no new Wii.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't understand what it is.
Use the one you got.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. It's because that's the same thing. Like my nephew still has a Wii, and he's still buying games there. So I'm sure that's exactly what happened.
Right.
Okay, so starting at number 4.
Infinity for the Dreamcast.
for the GameCube.
Choo Choo Rocket for the Dreamcast.
Choo Choo Rocket.
That's good. Okay, number 4, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell for the PS3. Number 3, Saints Row 4 for PS3.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, Splinter Cell for 360.
Whoa, did you miss 3?
No, 3 was Saints Row 4 for PS3.
Okay. I thought you said 4.
Yeah, Saints Row 4.
Okay, I got it.
Saints Row 4 for the PS3. And number 2 was Splinter Cell Xbox 360. Number 1, Saints Row 4 for the Xbox 360.
Wow.
So there you have it. Yep.
Oh, I was looking for Saints Row 4 too. I just remembered. Yeah, not available.
Really?
No, it wasn't sold out.
Yeah, not at Redbox. Man, people are catching on to my little Redbox thing because now I can't get Jack.
Man, do you have the Redbox app? It's really,
so.
really
Can't
useful because I can look at
stuff.
Yeah, you can reserve stuff, and you can look at all the red boxes around you. So usually, I never don't find what I'm looking for. I know that's too negative.
Yeah, I'll probably have to start doing that.
That's smart.
I was out and about on Saturday, and I was just like, I'm gonna get it. There's 6 red boxes within like a half mile from me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing about this week is Saints Row took the cake for the Xbox 360 by 348,000 units. The number 2 spot, which was Splinter Cell, only did 170,000 units. So it nearly doubled the amount of units. But man, Xbox 360, you can't, they're always going to win over PS3
Oh yeah,
games.
you can't argue with them numbers.
Can't argue with those numbers at all. So congratulations, Saints Row 4. That's awesome.
That's great. Hall, did you want to kick us off with something news-wise?
Are we going to talk about this VR headset?
The Sony one?
Sony, yeah.
I had it written down.
I think it would be prudent of us to do so.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, but I'm down.
Responsible.
Actually, I read that it was supposed to appear at Gamescom, so we could have been talking about it last week, I guess.
Right,
but,
they pushed it back.
I don't even really know why they're doing this. I mean, I get it. Like, the Oculus Rift is gaining a lot of traction, so maybe they feel like they should enter the space, but it's not going to be as supported as the Oculus Rift.
Well, I mean, you do have built-in audience when you make something like this, and then you can always force it on people like the Kinect and the Eye first generations. You know what I mean? Yeah. I just don't know why they wouldn't do something. And maybe you can answer them. Maybe I just haven't looked far enough into it. But were they not ever going to do anything with the Oculus Rift with the PS4 and Xbone?
I don't see why they wouldn't.
That's what I don't understand.
I don't
but is it still too early? Is that the problem?
I mean, but they're starting over anyway with something.
Yeah.
But
I think that the window, because they're starting over so quickly, I don't think that window's there to really nail down everything, though, for the Oculus Rift, don't you think?
Well, the thing is, the Xbone and the PS4 are going to be PC computers.
Yeah, essentially.
And that's what Oculus Rift works with now. So it doesn't seem like a far stretch to try to integrate the two.
True.
Well, and plus, Oculus would want to support it across multiple devices because then they're going to sell more.
Yeah.
So why not?
Yeah. I don't know what the deal is with that. Somebody knows.
Well, actually, the people at Oculus had said if Sony and Microsoft come out with their own headsets, then that basically just validates what they're doing.
Oh,
so that basically says, okay, well, we came up with a good idea, and now that other people are entering the market, it's going to be a lot better because everybody's going to be developing basically this technology.
But here's my question. Do you think Sony over time may get a leg up on the Oculus Rift because they own they have their own developers and game developing companies that can just be like, hey, here's the VR headset and, run with it, go.
Yeah, that's the sad thing, though, is that's what they did with the Move, and it just didn't work.
You're right.
So
because nobody used it.
And you got to think, too, like, with the PC, you can do so many different things. The process of trying to be creative for a VR headset for the PlayStation is going to be way harder and way clunkier of a thing to try to accomplish. You know what I'm saying? Like where with PC games, you could just experiment. It doesn't have to be games. It can be whatever, you know what I'm saying, that you could experiment with the Oculus Rift when it comes to the PC, but it's going to have to be a game with I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't know.
I bet what's going to happen is Sony's going to introduce this headset and integrate it into some of their games, and Microsoft is probably going to sit on the sidelines and decide whether or not it's a smart business decision. Yeah. I can see that happening. Because they've got Alumaroom, that thing that they're working on.
Oh, that's right.
They're going to be advancing Kinect in some form or fashion. I mean, they're putting it in the box, so they better do something with it. So, I think time will tell basically what this is going to be.
Yeah. And a Lumi Room, to me is the, kind of the VR headset without having to put a headset on.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
It's not, obviously it doesn't go all the way to the left and right, but they're trying to have that full immersion without having to have something on your head, which I don't really like. I mean, when I played the Oculus Rift, like, sure it was cool. You know what I'm saying? And you got to get used to it. And there's like, you're looking around, you're like, oh, holy crap, where am I? Okay, wait, okay. It kind of recenters and stuff like that. But like, I don't like not being able to see. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, just wearing my headset and my wife coming upstairs scares the crap out of me because she kind of enters the room behind me. And she and she always tries. She's so sweet because she always tries. She's like, hey, and I'm like, oh gosh, okay, all right, what?
That's hilarious.
Yes,
You almost have to bang pots and pans on the way up. Just
exactly.
to be like, I'm coming up.
I'm like, can you stomp really hard or something so I can feel the vibration of you coming?
She just needs to turn the lights on and off.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Don't sneak up on a brother like that, especially like
That's
when
right.
I was playing Last of Us. She would come in and scare the mess out of me, and and she loves it. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I was like, gosh, she's not sneaking up on me,
If she really wanted to mess with you while you were playing The Last of Us, she should have gone like, wow.
Yeah, I wouldn't have heard that, but
No,
for
true.
sure. Yeah.
That's funny.
For some reason, when you were telling that story, I just imagined her walking upstairs and you're in like this full body virtual reality thing. You've got the glasses on, the headset.
He's levitating.
Oh, gosh.
And she
Hanging
just walks
myself from the
upstairs
ceiling.
and she's like, "What are you doing?"
And I'm like, leave me alone. You have your things, I have mine.
Oh goodness.
Oh, that's so good.
I don't sneak up on you while you shoe shopping.
That's right.
That's
That's
great.
funny. Yeah. Well, on to I'm sorry. Is there something else you wanted to say about that
Nope.
headset? I was going to say on to another thing that I think is an interesting step is the 2DS, Nintendo's 2DS.
Yes.
Obviously, we've been seeing pictures of it all over the place. People are getting their hands on it. No hinge. It's the same size, obviously, as the 3DS when it comes to the screens. What do you guys think about this 2DS?
It looks like the Atari Jaguar controller, kind of like the same size. Now that I think about it, because when I first saw the demo thing, I was like, "That thing is a monster.
Right.
That thing's huge."
That's what it
What the
feels
heck?
like, but is it really that big?
I don't know. Like when I had heard that there was because I had actually heard about it before I saw the video and I didn't see any pictures yet. I was like, man, that would be awesome because I've kind of been waiting for Nintendo to go back to that non-clamshell design.
Like Game Boy-esque.
Like I kind of want a console like that.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to, in my opinion, it's hard for them to do that with two screens. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. And, the other thing is think about what demographic uses the 3DS mostly. It's a lot of younger kids, too. So they probably need to keep it a fairly larger size for tiny fingers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I wonder, too, and I think it's just one screen divided by plastic. Actually, in actuality, it's not two screens.
How they pull that off is nuts. I'm sure it's like a software thing.
Yeah, how the bottom
basically.
is touchscreen and lower res and the top isn't. Yeah,
that's cool.
beyond me. But I think it'll make it more durable, like you're saying. I think this one's obviously aimed at like children, because
I think
children
so,
are
too.
going to break that hinge. You know what I'm saying?
That
yeah.
makes sense.
Yep.
So
I mean, I think that's probably their number one sell. I mean, obviously they're marketing it to the moms to buy for their children, but the majority of the demographic that's playing this handheld is probably kids.
yeah,
Crazy enough, the 2DS to me, like just watching the ad and watching adults use it, to me it looks a little more comfortable. And am I alone in that?
no, I think you're right, and I think like how I'd want to play games. Like when I played the 3DS the other day, I couldn't figure out where I wanted to place the screen, like how high I wanted it or how low I wanted it. And I actually almost like that the 2DS takes away that option.
Nice.
It's like, just hold it where it's best. You know what I'm saying? Instead of being like, squeaky, squeaky, squeak, squeak. Do I want to download? Squeaky, squeaky. You're like, doing it back and forth. Hinge.
Yeah, I never found because I have a DS, I never found the clamshell very comfortable. Like the way that, like holding the device.
Right.
To me, like I said, it was just never comfortable. Like I have older ones too. Like I have the big toaster one. I have the Game Boy Pocket. I have the Game Boy Color. And the Game Boy Pocket and the original GBA are the most comfortable to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I saw the ad for the 2DS, I kind of felt that it would be more comfortable, but I have to get my hands on one.
Yeah, and it looks
really.
a little, I guess maybe it gradually gets thicker. It might not be thicker where you hold it, but I always think like whenever something is a little bit bigger and heftier, that's usually more comfortable to me than something skinnier and lighter. Nice. I guess we'll.
Are you going to get if you get it, are you going to get the carrying case? Because that ad, it was showing the kid putting it in the bag and taking it with him. I was just like, oh boy.
I was going to say, it's not a fanny pack, is it?
No,
it should be.
It's just another step I don't want to do. I already have too many bags. Put a carrying case inside my backpack, inside my, whatever. Let's keep it moving. Exactly. Router, you got something?
The only thing that, and I'm kind of just going off the cuff here, but I'm really excited for Fables: The Wolf Within. By the way, there was some gameplay. PAX was this past weekend, and I watched some video from one of the channels that I subscribe to, and they were freaking out over it. It's the next Telltale game. They said the controls are a lot different than The Walking Dead, but the story is great. The animation and artwork is great. And it's supposed to come out, I think, by the end of this month, if not in October.
Wow.
That is definitely one that I think I'm going to pick up.
Yeah, that looked really cool.
I'm going to have to look into that. Is that on iOS as well?
I don't know if it's being released yet.
It's called
on
Fable?
iOS. It's called The Wolf Within, but I think it's like Fables: The Wolf Within or something like that. Let me look it up real quick.
Fables: The Wolf Within? Huh.
I could be wrong. Hang on. I wanted to fact check while go talk amongst yourselves.
Okay.
Well, Gabe, are you excited about The Enemy Within?
XCOM?
Yes.
I haven't watched anything on it, unfortunately.
It's basically like an expansion, I think.
Is it that one or the first-person shooter? That's Bureau.
No, that's the Bureau.
Yeah, what's
The Enemy Within? They said like basically it's like a full-on expansion to XCOM.
Really?
Because I think that, and I'm not exactly sure. I'm sure our listeners will write in about this, but I'm not exactly sure if you have to buy the complete pack. Because basically what it is it's an expansion to the original game, but they said like we're only going to sell it like together with the original game, I think is what they said.
Oh, so you have to have the game.
Big. Yeah, because they said they can't release it as DLC because it's too big.
Wow.
That's what they said. I mean, I think Sony and Microsoft have some restrictions on the size.
I need to go
DLC.
look that up. I think because I saw that, obviously on the Tales of Bureau, that I just didn't pay much mind. But I got to check it out.
I'm not exactly sure either. Like I said, I want to have our listeners write in about that because I'm excited about new content for that game. I freaking love that game.
Me too. I'm like,
I'm really surprised that Declassified didn't do better this past week when it came out. Than I thought. For sure
but Saints Row and freaking Infinity are huge games.
Disney Infinity.
It didn't review well either.
Exactly.
Oh, really?
And it's changed. Yeah. I mean, it changed too much, I think, on what people want, what people wanted.
People are expecting one thing and they're getting something else.
I'll still play it when it gets cheap enough.
Yeah, I think me too.
I have it. I have XCOM downloaded, ready to go. Just got to play it.
So good.
Oh my gosh, you'll love it.
I don't know if you'll love it. Like, it's definitely like an acquired taste. It's not a jump in there and.
No, I know. I know it's like I'm not a huge strategy game person, but I've heard that if you're not a strategy game person, it's still a great game to play.
Exactly.
And it may actually get you into strategy. So that's what I'm kind of excited for that. Yeah.
Well, I think it'll get you into strategy, but it'll get you into like a different kind of strategy. Like you're not going to go play Rome Total War after playing this game. I don't
right.
Right. Or
okay.
Whatever.
Real quick fact check. It's called Fables: The Wolf Among Us. That's the next Telltale game. I knew it was something like Wolf Within or Wolf Among Us. Anyway, sorry. They haven't actually officially done a release date yet, and it's supposed to be season 1. So I think this is going to be kind of like their next The Walking Dead.
So wait, it's just interesting that they use that name. That's the only thing for me, like with having such an established Fable.
Maybe they're trying to like create a series. So
yeah, I think that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, like Fables, The Wolf Within, Fables, The Magic Mushroom. I don't know, whatever's next.
Yeah, right.
The Magic Mushroom.
Nice. So it's Fables, The Wolf Among Us. They did a lot more gameplay. They allowed a lot more gameplay at PAX this past weekend, and a lot of people are talking about it.
Sweet.
So I'm very excited for that game.
I have a funny story from PAX. So Mountain Dew was doing this promotion with Microsoft, giving away. They had these QR codes. You guys know QR codes, the little square things, and you scan it with your phone. And they had those hidden around the Washington State Convention Center. And you could scan these QR codes using the PAX guidebook app to collect points. And you could like get gear, or you could bid on the Xbox One. Speaking of, we call it the X-Bone because XB1, X-Bone.
Somebody else faster.
Yeah, it's not an insult.
Somebody got mad on Twitter. They're like, "Stop sounding like such fanboys.
Let's just call it the X.
Disrespecting the Xbox." I was like, there's no disrespect. We love.
Actually, we don't even have to call it the X. We can call it DX, like the wrestling group.
That's gonna be too.
And we can call the PS3 NWO.
Nice.
Anyway, so you could scan the QR codes from your phone. Check this out. Microsoft, right? Giving away Xboxes. Mountain Dew with Microsoft doing this promotion. The app worked on iPhones and Droids. Did not work on the Windows phones.
Okay.
That's hysterical.
I thought that was crazy. I was like, what in the world?
That?
Yeah.
They already gave up. Didn't work on the Surface either.
They were like, yeah, just forget it. We don't want it to work on our own phones.
Are you kidding me?
Just everybody else's phones. Anyway, I just thought that was funny. Funny side note.
That's ridiculous.
Gosh, we got to keep moving because I know.
No, it's all good as long as
gotta go.
Well, when we get to the questions, I'm just going to have to duck out for a second. If that's cool.
Yeah, you could do whatever you like T.I. said.
Good deal.
So Xbox One, XBOXONE news. They came out and said they support 8 controllers being connected to the same system at one time. 8.
Wow.
8. That is a bunch of controllers.
That's some tiny little squares on your TV.
I know. I thought about that. I was like, man, thank God we're in the age of these huge televisions.
I know. You need like a 100-inch TV just to break it up nice and easy.
I think that I bet the reason that they're doing 8 is because they're probably going to have games like Bomberman and stuff like that, where everybody's on the same screen, basically. So
FIFA.
They can support that. Now, how many people are going to use that? I have no idea.
Well, I was thinking about it. I was like, man, I'm not buying 8 controllers. That's going to have to be like all my buddies have Xboxes, but everybody's going to have an Xbox One. That's the problem. I'm going to have like a couple buddies with Xbox Ones to come over, bring your controllers, and we'll all play. I don't even have 8 friends that play video games.
Well, and if you bought 8 controllers, you bought 2 more Xboxes.
No, seriously.
I mean, for the price of those controllers, you might as well just go and buy another Xbox One then.
Yeah, there you go. Don't even buy any controllers, just buy 2 Xbox
Yeah,
Ones.
just get, yeah.
I like that. But PS4 is going to support 4, and I heard that PS3 in a way supports 7. I don't know how that works.
It's probably just a Bluetooth thing.
But yeah. But I thought that was great. I think that's nice to boast anyway, even if you never use it. It's like, it's a leg up, I think.
At least the option is there.
Yeah, at least the option is there. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Hall, did you have something else?
No, we can go ahead and go on to Router, do you have anything?
No.
Let me hit one thing real quick.
Oh, shoot. I forgot. I wanted to hit the Xbox Live sale, but go ahead and hit your thing.
Do it.
Okay, so I was actually browsing last night and I found the back to school sale that's going on the Xbox. So I just kind of wanted to give a few highlights.
I love that video games are doing back to school sales.
Oh my gosh. It's freaking digital. Like, one of the things that I work with, like at my job actually, is creating digital sales and doing digital price breaks and stuff. And doing large price breaks really gets people to latch on to software, because when you buy into digital, I mean, you don't really own the game. You know, if your console breaks or one of these companies just decides to drop support for all these games, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got to buy into digital when it's on sale.
Right, right.
But anyway, some highlights. Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that was an old PS1 game. On the 360, it is $2.50 this week.
My gosh.
Wow.
That, I'm definitely picking that up, and I recommend it. Hardcore Uprising. It's, you know how when they took Contra and they split it off into hardcore, and then they have like Contra Vanilla, basically?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, hardcore is kind of like the more anime style one. And we got that for free on PS Plus, I think. And I actually opened it up and played it, and I loved it. So
nice.
I recommend it. It's $3.75.
Golly. You can't pass these games up. I mean, that's so cheap.
Oh, dude, there's so many of them. Let me just actually start going down the list here. They've got Beyond Good and Evil for $5. The two Castlevania games, both of them are under $4. I Am Alive for $7.50. From Dust for $7.50. Dungeon Defenders $7.50. Koretica is $2.50.
Oh my gosh.
Perfect Dark $5. Puzzle Quest is $5. Quarrel is $2.50. Rayman 3 HD $5. Rocket Knight, which is a great game. Rocket Knight was a game on the Genesis. It's $3.75. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Even if you didn't like the movie, even if you've never seen the movie, I recommend picking up the game because it is an amazing, like, old school style beat 'em up. It's a lot like Retro City Rampage.
Oh, okay. How much is it?
Let's see. Oh, it's $5, which is a good price on it. It almost never goes on sale.
Sure.
Couple more things. Let me see here. Angry Birds Trilogy for $20. Here's a highlight: Skyrim for $20.
Oh wow!
I might have to pick that up. Sleeping Dogs for $15.
Wow, nice.
Let's see. They've just got some random DLC, some Tomb Raider DLC, some Mass Effect 3 DLC. It's all half off. So
I need Mass Effect 3's DLC to be Mass Effect 4.
Yes, exactly. I don't buy into a lot of DLC, but I would probably get Mass Effect DLC. So
yeah, Blood Dragon was the first DLC I bought, and I'm gonna go buy Festival of Blood, probably Infamous.
Yeah, that I've heard that's pretty good. I skipped over a few of them, like some of this stuff that I don't know. I just don't think would be interesting at that price point. I think this stuff has been on sale before, but I recommend just going to the store and checking it out. It's a pretty big sale, and I'm probably going to spend some money on it. So
there you go. Also, in the same vein, the games entering the PS Plus Instant Game Collection this month, September. You know, at the beginning of every month, you kind of start jonesing because you're like, oh, shoot, what's PS Plus going to give us this month? Resident Evil Chronicles HD Collection. Originally it was $27.99 right now, but it's free. It was obviously it's two of the Resident Evil games, I think. Two of the first person shooter.
Is it
Resident
the Code Veronica?
I forget. I'm not looking at it anymore. I looked at it last night. Ico or Ico, ICO HD.
Eco.
For free. Speaking of, we were talking about Bridesmaids right before the podcast. And when she comes in, she gets that tattoo. She's like, I got it for free. Anyway, Galaga Legions DX. That's why we can't call the Xbox DX. Free. Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories on PSP and Vita. Free. and Rayman Origins on the Vita for free.
Wow.
So,
is there going to be an update mid-month or something like that? So we'll have some more coming in.
I don't think so. Usually, I think they've been announcing them. They've been announcing them at the beginning of the month and then rolling them out as the month goes.
Yeah,
maybe
and then,
they're
every now
gearing
and then
up for-
something will jump in there.
I was going to say maybe they're gearing up for some to do something crazy over the holidays.
Oh, next month in November will probably be nuts.
I hope that
can't
both the 360 and the PlayStation 3 are going to get a lot of sales this Christmas on digital stuff.
They need to.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will.
Plants vs. Zombies. Just I want to do two quick news things, then we'll jump into questions. Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, the third-person shooter. It's only going to be multiplayer. Only. No single-player campaign as of right now. I can
see why, though. I mean, I understand that.
I can see why, too, but at least give me the option to play it by myself. I don't have internet everywhere I go.
Yeah, it's true.
And so it's like, and
Gabe's going to be the guy that's like 5 seconds behind.
He's lagging.
Yeah.
He's going to be like, I shot that guy. What the heck?
I'll be trying to talk 40-year-old men on the road into playing video games with me. I'm like, come on, man. It's almost your demographic. And so it's launching first for the Xbone for $40. So that's nice because it's, gets a price break out of the gate. And then $30 on the 360 and the PC coming out 2014. And then we'd be remiss if we didn't at least mention Magic Number 9, which is the guy that brought us Mega Man. I don't know how to say his name. Keiji? Keiji. I'm totally Americanizing his name, but Inafune.
I think.
Is that what it is?
I think
I tried to go listen to a thing of him being interviewed, and he said his name, but he said it so fast that I was like, well, I'm not going to get that. So
we Americans talk slow.
Asked for 900,000, and I think they hit it in like 24 hours.
Wow.
On Kickstarter. So he's kickstarting this game, Magic Number 9. It looks very cool. It looks like, Mega Man 2013, really.
That's awesome.
And then they also hit their first stretch goal, which was at 1.2 million, which would have added 2 more stages. And then when they hit 1.3, they'll add Mac and Linux support because it's just PC right now.
Linux, wow.
1.5 million, they'll do a new plus mode or a turbo mode. At 2 million, they're going to do a documentary about it. At 2.5 million, they'll release it for the PS3, 360, and the Wii U.
Well, wow. I guess we'll be playing this on the PS3 or the Xbox 360.
I know. Yeah. And then they kind of have question marks for going on further than that. So they'll probably hit it. There's 27 days left. I think they're already at 1.2 something million.
They're like, hey, we take over the world.
Yeah, we'll do something. So anyway, before we get into these questions, quick reminders. Next week, we are doing a giveaway for sure. It's our year. We know what we're giving you, but you won't know until next week. And I'm so excited to be giving something away to our listeners just to say that we appreciate you guys. And a year later, we're still doing this thing and we're still pumping them out every week. And we just want to say thank you. And so we're giving some stuff away. And it's stuff we had to pay for. So we're not that podcast yet to where we're getting stuff for free and can just give it to you guys. But we do want to say thank you and that we appreciate you. So next week we'll be doing a giveaway and we'll be letting you guys know what all those things are.
A new car.
Ladies and gentlemen, do I have 2 numbers right?
Yes. So follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/MTTGcast. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/married to the games. You can check out our website, marriedtothegames.com, youtube.com/married to the games. We're on the Xbox Music Store. We're on Podomatic. So follow us. We're going to be, promoting this giveaway for probably the next couple weeks. So if you're a little behind on the podcast, try to catch up and at least be in the latest 3, and you can hopefully get in on this giveaway. I'm really excited just to send you guys stuff. And you want to jump into the questions? I think that's it.
All right, let's do this. So we'll start with Facebook. Mike Fowler writes, any news on any of you guys getting a gaming handheld, i.e. a 3DS, 2DS, Vita? He says, I've been geeking on Hotline Miami and waiting for Killzone Mercenary for my Vita.
Oh, I loved Killzone. The first game I played Killzone. I loved
So
Killzone.
yeah, I
on the PSP.
probably am not going to get a handheld for a while, just because I know my life would be over if I did. But
seriously.
Yeah, I'm putting it on hold because if I'm gonna buy anything, it's probably gonna be a next gen console.
That's my problem too.
So I may put all my money on that now, and then maybe, I don't know, sometime next year maybe. And a lot depends on what happens. Like if these handhelds start getting more and more integrated into gameplay for your consoles, yeah, maybe that'd be, that might be a good thing to pick up.
There you go. I mean, I'm always kind of one foot on both sides of the fence. I mean, I want to really bad, but the fact of the matter is I'm really going to be trying to get this PlayStation at launch. And even though I won't be there, I'll be on the road on the 15th of November. So I actually won't be home for the PlayStation launch. But I'll, definitely be trying to get it when I get back home. So, I mean, I'll probably be pouring a lot of money into that. And then, yeah, same thing. Like, if the 2DS is cheap enough and if I can find a Vita, I mean, I want all of it, but kids, wives, and 9 to 5, I have a 9 to 5 for a reason.
That's
and
right.
It's usually to pay for the kids and wives.
Exactly.
Nice.
So, Hall?
If I find the 2DS to be comfortable, like a comfortable fit for my hands and stuff, I could probably see myself picking it up if it were on sale for $100, and it probably will be. Like I know that
one of them will, yeah.
Yeah,
at
like
some point.
it's the Vita, that remains to be seen.
Right.
There's a possibility of like a Black Friday deal where it'll be $100. I'm sure.
Oh yeah, that's true.
The 2DS will probably be $100 on Black Friday. I could see that, and it'll probably sell like hotcakes. So
that'll be hard to turn down.
Yeah, and I bet that they won't do like a wholesale price change. They'll probably do something where it's like $129 with a $30 gift card.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And you got to buy a game with it anyway. So there you go.
There you go.
There it is. All right, next question from Stuart Quinn. How did you guys meet up, and what made you start doing this? Awesome show, by the way.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I mentioned this because, Stuart, I think we talked about this and I can't remember what episode, and if you guys can remember.
It's probably a long time ago.
Yeah, it's probably a long time ago.
Yeah, it's fine to go ahead and explain it all again.
But, yeah, I mean, the funny thing is the key factor in all of us getting together was my wife's stationery store in downtown Franklin, because both of Gabe and Tim Hall's wife, they both worked at that store, and that's how we all kind of met each other, because they had overheard me talking about video games, and they were like, oh yeah, my husband plays games too. And I'm like, really?
Yes. Yeah.
And the rest.
Did you start playing video games before you knew Tim Hall or after you knew Timothy Hall?
I started playing in 2011.
Well, it's probably around the time that Chris started working there, I imagine.
It was close to around that time. Yeah. So,
but we didn't know each other yet. I don't
yeah,
think,
and that's. So. But once she mentioned that you play games, then I was like, ooh, okay. And Gabe, you and I go further back because Jenny started. Oh, when was that? Back in 06 or?
Gosh, yeah, a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, and so that's how we kind of all met up. And one day we just decided, we were talking about, Hall and I, or at dinner, I believe, we were talking about doing a podcast, and then I was like, I've got the perfect guy, and we had Gabe.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember.
Me and Gabe went out to lunch. I told him about it. He was like, I'm in.
It was kind of cool because we were swapping stories because I just got back from E3.
Yeah.
not this last year, obviously, but the year before. And we couldn't hook up for some strange reason. I was like, I got to tell you this story because my story was so crazy.
It was great.
Which I think was one of the main things we jumped off this podcast about was like, all right, we're doing this. We love video games, and Gabe's going to tell this story about E3. And I don't think I ever told the story.
Never did.
That's
so
funny.
we might have to do like a side podcast where I just tell the story. But
We'll do like a fireside chat or like a camping stories chat podcast.
We'll do an
like
interview with Gabe Patillo.
Yes, an interview with Gabe.
Boring.
So.
But yeah, and then we were sitting in McCreary's. I remember we were sitting in McCreary's across from the store, and I was telling you the story, and after I got done, he was like, dude, so this guy named Timothy Hall, blah, 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 would you be interested at all? I was like, let me pray about it. Yes, I definitely want to do it.
Nice.
I think he was going hallelujah right
Exactly.
5 seconds after I asked him.
I was shouting in the middle of the freaking McCreary's, an Irish pub. I was like, glory! Glory! Yeah!
So I guess your answer is yes then, huh?
Yeah, exactly. He was like, okay, you can sit down now. Please get off the table.
No, it's good stuff. So yeah, then it all kind of came together, and the good thing is that Hall, you're like an audio engineering master, and Gabe, you're in music too, so you know tons of audio engineering as well. So it's like it worked out perfectly. Like
we've gotten to use all of our strengths, which is nice. With your webbing background,
with my webbing, you're singing / audioing, and Hall's
my entertainment background and Hall's audio background.
It just all kind of came together.
We all had the right skills, so the raid was successful.
Yes.
Bow staff skills.
That's right.
Nunchuck skills.
And we all leveled up.
Yep. XP, baby, XP.
I love it.
All right, great question. Let's move on to Twitter. Our boys, the
okay, yeah. I'm gonna have to give me a few minutes. You guys tackle these.
Take 5. Go ahead. All right. At Frozen Gamers, how did each of you meet your wives?
Oh, let's come back to it when Hall gets back.
Yep, let's do that. Okay. At Joe Boston 617, what's your favorite movie? Mine would have to be Shawshank Redemption. I can never get tired of watching
Shawshank Redemption?
It's a great call.
That's a good movie.
It's a great movie. I like that we're getting more questions about us too, so like we can get
no,
like our listeners can get to know us, we can get to know them. That's really, really cool. Man, favorite movie.
Shawshank Redemption. That was a good movie. You know what mine is, and I think I'm settled into this, and I fought it for forever. I was like, man, that can't be my favorite movie. I think maybe because of the time of my life, and I had never seen anything like this before. I think I gotta go. It's weird because it's not my Desert Island movie. It's not like a movie I'd want to watch over and over again.
Yeah.
But just the feeling I walked away with, I went and saw it by myself. The Matrix.
Yeah. Okay.
I loved The Matrix. Like the first time I saw it, and just how creative it was, and even though it turned into Dragon Ball Z pretty much right. is what it feels like. Right. But I don't know, there's something about that movie, right time of life. I thought it was incredible. I still think it's an incredible movie.
Yeah, I remember Lauren and I went and saw that, and we walked out of there going, what just happened?
Yeah.
But I went back and watched it like a couple more times, and it started to grow on me too.
Yeah. We hadn't seen that bullet time. I mean, we'd seen kind of versions of it, but like done to that extent, like the camera circling around, and I don't know. And Keanu was so perfect I'm so glad Will Smith turned it down. Yeah. Because I think it would have been a totally different movie.
I agree.
And, I think something about Keanu's kind of non-acting is what
actually
made
worked.
It awesome.
Yes. Yeah, it's awesome.
Which is very few movies you can non-act and them still be great. And
right.
They just both happen to be Keanu. It's that and Point Break.
Yep, exactly. So is there a movie that you can watch over and over again though?
I mean, Unfortunately, Bridesmaids is one of those movies.
Oh,
like,
dude, yeah,
whenever
I'm with
it's
you.
on, like in the background or something like that, if it's on
There's
television
nothing
or something.
unfortunate about that. I could watch that movie
I
anytime
know,
it comes.
but it just gets so crass. You're like, oh gosh, I don't need to be laughing at this right now. But it's just so
It's
funny
hilarious.
at times.
Yeah.
And I think the thing about comedy for me is like I'm not easily offended. So somebody can be very vulgar.
Yeah, me
and
too.
I'm not offended. The only thing is with vulgarity, I don't think that's necessarily as creative.
Agreed.
But there's that time where you hear a comic, or because I love stand-up comedy.
Yeah, me too.
And I actually went to Zany's this last week. It was awesome.
Yeah, how was that, by the way?
It was so much fun. It's our little comedy club here in Nashville, Zany's. It was awesome. It was so much fun. But there's that line that like people can be dirty and funny and high, but there's that excellence though, like Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle, and I think Bridesmaids hits it too, where sure, there's parts that are vulgar, but some of it's just like brilliant. You're like, oh my gosh, that's so funny.
I think some of it's in the delivery too. Like you could
all
just
about it,
like spit it all out, but the way that you deliver it, even if it's crass, actually sounds a little bit
hilarious.
Better. Yeah.
Mitch Hedberg is the master of delivery. It was so deadpan.
Yay! That was quick. Good.
Favorite movie, Hall?
Favorite movie?
Dumb and Dumber.
Nice.
No hesitation.
I'm dead serious.
Nope.
My friend and I used to talk about how that was the only perfect movie.
That movie is pretty perfect.
And then they released the extended version, which is not perfect, but
exactly.
Yeah.
It's why they cut that stuff out in the first place.
Exactly. Don't put it back in.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's keep going.
For me, it's always been I can watch Anchorman over and over again.
Oh gosh, that's a good one too.
Anytime, any place, I will watch that movie. Okay,
that's a good movie.
Great question. At S
Go back to the other one.
Our boys, the Frozen Gamers, asked, how did we each meet our wives? I met mine we were sophomores at the University of Delaware, and we actually lived in the same dorm because the dorm where we were at went guy, girl by room. So you had like the men's bathroom on one end of the hall and the girls' bathroom on the other end, and she was 3 doors down from me. So
wow.
3 doors down.
3 doors down.
I wish I could pick a song out.
No relation.
Superman.
No relation.
Nice.
So yes, that's how I met my wife.
How I met Jenny. So I work for a guy named Toby Mack. For those that don't know, he's an artist, Christian singer. And so I've been on the road with him for like 11 and a half years now, which is nuts. But a couple years ago, well, not a couple anymore, but like 5 or 6 years ago, his personal assistant quit. And I kind of fell into that role. He was like, hey, this guy's leaving. Do you want to do this job? And I was like, sure. And I did it, and it was great. And right after I got hired, their family, because he's got 5 kids, hired a new nanny. And so, and that nanny was my wife. And I didn't know that at the time, obviously, but I knew she was fine and knew how to handle them kids.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, girl, what's your name is? She was like, hey, Jenny. I was like, oh, yeah. You want to make a chocolate vanilla baby?
That's hilarious.
And here we are 6 years later with a chocolate vanilla baby that turns
right.
2 in like a week and a half.
Gabe Patillo creeping on the nanny.
Yes, saw.
That's awesome.
Pulled a Tiger Woods on them jokers.
That's right.
In a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah, because I think his wife was a daddy. I think.
And
she was white and blonde, and my wife is white and blonde.
Yeah, it's good
That's
stuff.
the only thing me and Tiger Woods have in common.
There you go.
Is that we're brown and married white and blonde nannies. Hall.
Krista and I met at I think we just met through my band. Like our singer, he was friends with her, and that's kind of how we both met at a show. I think we had planned to meet at the show, but we'd been talking beforehand.
Oh, nice. So she didn't like see you play and was like, hey.
No. Actually, she thought that I was the other guitar player at first, I think. And she was like, oh, I thought you were the mean one.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah, so that was
good. At least
funny.
she wasn't like, I thought you were the cute one.
Right.
Yeah, so but that was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
But like I said, this was when MySpace was around, so we were talking on there before we met.
Well, how long have you guys been married now?
It was 7 years last month.
Oh, August marriage too? Us too. Nice.
That's awesome.
And then how long have you guys been married, Router?
In October, it will be 15 years.
Wow.
Good golly.
Yep.
Some of our listeners' whole lives.
That's right.
Do we really have people that listen to the show that are 15?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I just figured maybe.
Maybe.
They're smart if they are. I'll take it.
Wishful thinking.
So, hey, we're running over.
Yeah, we got to get to this spoilery stuff now.
3 more questions, so I'll just do this last one because
throw them out there real fast, and we'll try to answer them real fast because I won't skip anybody.
At S Dakota Gamer, when do you think Microsoft will announce their release date, and why are they waiting so long to announce? Great show, by the way. Yes, soon. I thought they were going to announce at PAX, but
that would have been a good time.
It would have been a great time, but I'm sure it'll be.
They did say soon recently. They were like, "Hey, soon." When they did the so the Xbox just went into production, production, like full production, and they upped the GPU speed from 0.6. I mean the CPU speed from 0.6 to 0.7.5, and the GPU speed from 800 megahertz to 853 megahertz. I think.
You're not going to notice anything.
You're not going to notice those little bumps, but in them releasing that, they said that soon we'll know. And it's now rumored that it's like mid to late November.
Right.
Not early November anymore. Okay, keep going.
Okay. At Yamin Bissett, in light of Hall and Patillo's Bioshock victory, are there any games you always wanted to complete but never did?
Bioshock Infinite.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much Bioshock Infinite.
I think that's all around, right? Like we just nailed that one.
That Altered Beast, but I beat it a couple months ago, and I feel really good about it.
Yeah, Altered Beast is a good one. I'd like to beat that.
Yeah, for me it's Bioshock Infinite. Now that I'm not in the Bioshock Infinite club with you two,
I know,
but it's all
good.
The
cool kids are doing it.
I know. And actually, the other ones is the Mass Effect series, which I have 2, so I'm going to start that soon too. I
need to play 3.
I really want to
do good.
That. So
yeah, since we're playing current games, I really need to play 3.
Yes, exactly. All right, final question. At CatJack1997, what would it take for you to defect and buy your non-favorite console first?
Oh my gosh.
Same price, same features, and maybe I would consider buying it would be more of a toss-up if they were the same price, basically.
Yeah, I mean,
a windfall of money. I would somebody would just have to give me $5,000 out of no place. I'd be like, oh sweet, I'm getting an Xbox One.
I'm getting everything.
Right. No, they would have to pay me to have the console.
No, get out of here.
No, I'm kidding. No. Honestly, I'm with Hall. Same price, and honestly, game exclusives too. If there's more game exclusives on another console versus another, especially if they're really great games, that would sway me. But they typically, most of the AAA games are coming out
on both.
On both. So it's not a big deal.
Yeah,
but
it doesn't make much of a difference. Controller preference, etc. But with this generation, Sony did have more exclusives. I mean, that's just a fact.
Yeah,
and
they were awesome.
Yeah, to me, I liked them a lot better, even though I had both. So,
yep.
I mean, if Sony's going to continue to have those franchises, then yeah. I'd like to play Halo, and I'd like to play, what's that game called?
Titanfall.
What's that?
Titanfall.
Titanfall.
Yeah, Titanfall.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd like to play those games right out the gate, but unfortunately, kids and wives and 9-to-5s, we can only afford one.
Yep.
Right out the gate. So
yeah, exactly.
If they were, like I said, if they were the same price and there was about the same amount of exclusives, which they may be at this point, then it would be really a good comparison. So
awesome.
That's my thoughts.
That's a wrap, Jack.
Router.
I know. I got to leave you now.
Mommy and Daddy need to talk about the budget.
but.
No, go. Hey. 1, 2.
No dinner.
2.5. 2 3/4. I always like listening to moms do that in the mall, and at some point, because they don't know fractions, because nobody paid attention in school, that they usually go backwards. They're like 2, 2.5, 2.25. You're like, that's the wrong
terrible.
way.
Parent of the year right there.
Yeah, exactly. They're
That's
like
awesome.
2 3/6. You're like 3/6.
2 15/16.
I'm like, if you don't, I just whoop them for them. I just grab the child and whoop them real quick.
I don't even count. Forget it. Don't even count anymore. Just hit them.
I said don't.
Yeah, just one. Pow.
If I have to get to counting, you're getting a spanking.
That's right. All right, boys.
All right, Router.
I'm super excited to hear about this after I play the game, but I will leave you now. Thank you, everybody, for all your questions, and I will talk to you soon.
Bye, Timothy.
Yeah, hey, Router, you got to do the "we up out this thing, peace."
Whip out this thing. Peace.
Nice remix. So if you have not played Bioshock Infinite yet, turn the podcast off. We'll give you a second. Okay.
Sorry, I had to give him a little second there. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Incoming.
Okay. Hall.
Yes.
What happened now? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So this game was awesome, right?
Yes, very much so.
Let's do you want to do the main story and then we'll go back and talk about specific things like
if people have already played the game, I don't. Oh, you're saying like basically talk,
because some people might
details.
listen and some people might be like, hey, I'm not going to play the game, but I'd love to hear.
Oh, yeah, and true. Some people probably beat it like 5 months ago.
Exactly.
So that's true.
So you play Booker DeWitt, obviously, and you have a debt to be paid, and to pay the debt, you know that you have to go get this girl, Elizabeth, and bring her to these people. You don't know who these people are, especially at the beginning of the game. And so the game is your journey with that, right?
That's pretty much it.
And where does it take place? In 1912?
1912, yeah.
Which is, I think, the same year as the Titanic.
Yeah, that was the crazy thing. When they had mentioned it was 1912, I was like, oh, boy, you're in for it.
I know, but it just makes so much sense. That's what I've always said about Bioshock. It makes so much sense to place it back in the early 1900s. Because, let's see, Bioshock, the first one is what, 1926?
I want to say isn't
somewhere
it closer
around
to
there.
like the 40s?
Yeah, something like that. But this is before then, obviously. And it's just a perfect time to put it into because man was doing all kind of crazy things at the time.
Yeah,
right?
And there was crazy experimentation. People didn't really know what the limits of science were at that time.
Yeah.
So there was just all kinds of crazy stuff going on.
So you're in a city in the sky called Columbia, and there's a guy that runs it, Comstock, right?
Mm-hmm.
And your whole journey is Comstock is the prophet. He's kind of like their Jesus, the Jesus of Earth or of America or whatever. Mm-hmm. And they listen to everything he says. He's like very, very highly worshipped. And everything he says comes true. And Elizabeth, the girl you're rescuing, is his daughter. But you don't know that going in. It's obviously, you find that out as you go along. And she doesn't know that.
It's Comstock's daughter.
It's Comstock's daughter. And she figures that out along the way as well. And your fight really is to... It starts out just getting the girl and then going to New York. And it turns into you kind of manipulating her because she wants to go to Paris. So you just tell her that you're going to Paris to get her to come with you. And then when she finds out, turn of events happens and then you're out to go get Comstock because she... What's her vendetta with Comstock? You got to take I'm so jealous you got to take this in 2 days. I played this game over like 3 weeks. And so I was like, it's a little foggy. What's the turn to all of a sudden go kill Comstock?
Well, I think basically, she's like, I've been locked up my whole life.
Mm-hmm. In this big statue.
Yeah.
She's locked up at the top.
Basically that she sees the horrible things that are going on in the underworld. So basically, you've got this racial tension that is
between
promoted.
the Vox Populi,
Yeah.
and and I guess the people of Colombia, they don't really, I guess they kind of get into other races, but there is that's the turn that happens at the very beginning. Sorry to go back. But at the very beginning, this town looks great and you're just walking around and you just got this weird baptism thing happened. And then you turn this corner and they're about to stone with baseballs, about to stone this interracial couple. And that's when it takes the turn and you find out that there's this racial purity thing that they want to kind of have happen. It's funny because one of our Twitter people was like, this a couple months ago, it was like, hey, Gabe, you really should play Infinite. It's really great. But hey, just so you know, there's some racist stuff in there. I was like, man, good looking out for, knowing that I'm black and try to be sensitive to my feelings. So I appreciate it. I'm not easily offended, though. So I was fine with it.
Yeah. When you get Elizabeth out, basically she sees these things that are going on. The thing that I love about the story, because at first I was like, well, this is, you're playing through the game and you're like, well, this is obviously very one-sided. They're showing you this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. The thing I loved was that the Vox Populi actually are also evil.
Wrong.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I loved. Because at first I was playing through and I'm thinking like, okay, this is very heavy-handed. But I was like, I know that these guys are great at making games. I know that Ken Levine is a very smart writer, so he's not going to make this heavy-handed, these guys are evil and these guys are good thing. Like I knew he was going to turn that corner.
There's an evil in all of us kind of thing.
Exactly. And the thing I took away, so when basically I think the moment that Elizabeth really changes and really decides that, okay, we need to do something about Comstock is when she has to kill Daisy, who is the leader of the Vox Populi. So, Daisy, I can't, she killed somebody. I can't remember, but
I don't think it was Daisy.
Daisy Fitzroy. She killed somebody. She killed a lot of people, but she killed this dude.
And then Daisy Fitzroy killed somebody.
Yeah, she killed somebody, and then she had his kid, and she was going to kill his kid. She said,
that's right, the baby.
Yeah, exactly. She said the only way to stop him is to kill the seed, basically, to kill the kid. Because they're going to grow up and they're going to be exactly the same, which we know to not be true. And then also, too, we know that kids are innocent. You don't kill children. That's just not right. So, like I said, I was very, very excited to see that kind of pan out and see that, like I said, both factions were in the wrong. It was very smart storytelling. It wasn't, it wasn't a very, what's the word I'm looking for here? He wasn't blatantly saying these people are bad and you should hate these people. He's saying you should hate all these people because they're all wrong. Yeah, basically.
I think it was like a hate. It was interesting what happens to men, or just saying man as a general thing about humans. Mm-hmm. What happens when we get power?
Exactly.
And so Daisy Fitzroy was the leader of the Vox Populi. She's crazy this way. And then you have Comstock, who's the leader of this thing over here, and he's crazy in his own right.
Exactly. And it goes into, we can actually kind of, we don't have to talk necessarily about the ending. What I was saying with that scene with Daisy was that's where Elizabeth kills Daisy, and I think that's where she just completely changes as a person. Because she had to kill somebody.
And her outfit changes, her hair changes throughout the game.
Yeah, I thought was very really cool. Figurative at that point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so you go through this thing kind of fighting your way. And of course, they're out for you from the beginning because you have the mark of the beast, really. He has AD on his hand, which is like their 666. And
it's his daughter's initials.
Well, I know, but you don't find that out till later. But, at first, all you know is that's the mark of the beast. And that's the mark of the false prophet is what they called him the whole time, this guy. And so you just kind of fight your way through, and it's a great story, and the way they kind of link together. There's times where she gets pissed and kind of leaves, and he chases after Elizabeth, and they get back together. And then, so there's these tears and this is hard to just run through because it doesn't make much sense how we're just going to skim over it. But there's these tears, and Elizabeth has this power where she can kind of open up these other worlds or this other time, kind of like if the world was happening on 4 different timelines. And you guys, you kind of start jumping through these tears, and you walk into different times, right?
Yeah, and you also come to realize that there are also alternate dimensions too, so
Right.
with different outcomes.
Yeah, to where different things have happened. So you jump into this one tear that's pretty important, and it's a tear where DeWitt, the guy that you're playing, has become one of the leaders of the Vox Populi, and he's died in service to the Vox Populi, and so they count him as a martyr. And you're very important there. And that's
Speaking of that ties into the beginning of the game. You know how when you're entering the city and they ask you to flip the coin and then they mark it on the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Heads or
basically
tails.
is like you've been here 100 times.
And it always comes up heads.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's nuts. It's so crazy when you get to the end of this game. Well, we'll get there. But so you have to kill Daisy Fitzroy. And it just kind of, I think you end up being in the world where the Vox are openly fighting the people of Colombia. Before they're kind of underground, thumb on their head, kind of living in a shanty town. And that's, all there is to them. And they're kind of underground faction that, goes and bombs something every once in a while. But, that's not the case in this. They've got their flags everywhere, these red flags blimps all over the place that, Oh man, we're just kind of running through this so much, but you can't really get into all of it.
There is a ton.
We could be here all day. All right, what else, Hall? What kind of going forward from there? Getting closer to Comstock's house and the whole thing with her mom. Kind of talk about that a little bit.
Goodness, like playing the game, like I didn't fully
Kind of a blur, right?
understand. Yeah, like
Go ahead.
they had been prophesying too, like saying like, oh, this child was born in 7 days. It was a miracle.
Right.
So you come to find out that Elizabeth was actually stolen from another dimension. The Lutesses, actually the Lutesses was only one person. That was the thing that was hard for me to understand.
They weren't twins?
No. Basically what it was is the man was Lutece born as a man, but the woman was him if he were born as a woman. Like it was an alternate
in a
dimension.
different dimension. Oh
Yeah,
my
it's
gosh.
so crazy. I was like, what?
But they're together the whole time.
Yeah,
and they're
I
almost
know,
speaking in unison. It's crazy.
Because they both figured out how to basically travel between time and dimension. So they
Because they're
exist
the ones-
outside of it.
Yeah, and they're the ones that came up with the whole quantum physics of being able to have a city in the sky. And so they've figured out how to meet up because they are the ones that invented all this kind of.
That is so crazy.
It's nuts.
It's hard to explain.
It really is. So you find out that Comstock is actually, because of the tests he's been doing with the, how you say it, Lutesses?
Yeah.
That he's actually sterile. And so all the things that he's been saying, the seed of the prophet will rain down on the mountains of men, is not true because it's not his baby, kind of. So, and then Lady Comstock, who they kind of hold as the Virgin Mary, is keeping this secret, and she has to be killed because of it. Right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what I gathered.
It's very, very confusing. I wish I could play it really in a day so I could get the whole story at once. And then, gosh, what else? So that's coming to the end of the game where you're figuring all this stuff out. And then, I mean, this is spoiler cast. We might as well go into the end, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Gosh, I don't even know how to explain it. So you're fighting your way to Comstock. And it ramps in an interesting way because the fighting ramps, but your interaction with Comstock doesn't really ramp, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So you you finally find Comstock, this guy, and forgive me for those people that are in love with this game. I love this game too. It was very fun. I know we're skipping a bunch of stuff. Please don't hit us on Twitter and ruin it for anybody for the things that we miss. Just write us an email separately, like Gabe at Married to the Games, and what is yours? The other Tim at Married to the Games?
Yeah, the other Tim at Married to the Games.
So you come to the end, you talk to Comstock, and just rage kind of hits you because Elizabeth wants to kill Comstock, and you're like, no, I'm not going to let you do it. I don't want you to kill your father, or the guy that's saying he's your father. I'll do it for you. But in the time, Elizabeth's talking to him, and he kind of starts manipulating Elizabeth very quickly, and you kind of see her like kind of fading into what he's saying, and you go ballistic, and you're standing at like a bird bath and literally bash his head against this bird bath and drown him in it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's dead. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, you killed him!" And you're like,
he says, before you actually kill him, he says, "It is finished." And I was thinking, oh, well, that's a
Bible
reference. And then you come to realize that he says that. Well, let's keep going because I'll talk about that in a second.
So let me ask you this: does old Elizabeth already have happened? I think old Elizabeth already happened.
Yeah,
you jump to this other dimension.
Yeah, exactly. Where she she became the seed of the prophet, and she succeeded him and all that stuff.
Yeah, and is destroying New York. And that's what you had a gosh, it's so messed up.
They said the fire will rain down, basically.
Yeah, you had a dream earlier about New York coming to its demise, and she's the one that does it. And then she sends you back in time to keep herself from doing that. So you go back in time, she gives you this note, give it to my younger self. You don't actually tell her that it's her, I don't think, but she figures it out. But you give her this note to not become Comstock and live out his plan. Okay, you take over, Hall.
I thought it was so nuts. Yeah, I guess let's just go to the end. Final boss battle thing was buggy. It was kind of slow. Like the frame rate was falling. Yeah, like the final blimp battle thing.
Fighting the Vox Populi with the Songbird.
With the Songbird. It was, for me, the frame rate was kind of wacky, but I got through it on the second time. I failed the first time, so.
Yeah, it was a little messy.
A lot of dudes at once.
Yeah, a lot of people. You're controlling this bird that looked over.
A typical boss battle. Like, I just like an endurance challenge, basically.
Yeah, exactly. That's definitely what it was. And you kind of, the shades of Bioshock, the original, really start to take shape at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Where in the Bioshock, the first game, you're not playing in a living city. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's gone. Mm-hmm. And you're just messing with, Ryan, this guy, Ryan. And, this is where it starts taking shape because you start to see the relationship between the Songbird and Elizabeth, which are very telling of the little sisters and the big daddies.
Yeah. Very much so.
Yeah. And it clicks because she all of a sudden looks at the Songbird as her protector, not as something she needs to destroy. So anyway, okay. So you do this boss battle, blah, 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 blah. And then what happens? You start jumping through time.
Yeah, basically, she takes you to Rapture, and this was the thing that was nuts. She said,
well, you use it as an escape, don't you?
Yeah, because she
rips open the
she
tear.
rips it to basically rips you over to Rapture and takes Songbird with her, because Songbird then drowns in the water.
Because you lose control of the Songbird, and it's about to attack you, and
you drop the flute thing,
right, and he's in the midst of destroying this thing that's been kind of keeping her power suppressed. And so once it's destroyed, she can kind of like rip into wherever she wants to go. And so she rips you underwater, and you don't know that it's Rapture right away. And so you just see the Songbird kind of hit this glass, and it's underwater. It's a fully mechanical animal, and it dies because it's fully mechanical underwater. And you kind of look around and you start seeing what are they called in Rapture? They're not Vigors in Rapture. Plasmids.
Plasmids, yeah.
You start seeing the plasmids. And it made me so happy that I've at least played the first 6 hours of Bioshock.
Yes, I said that to Tim. Basically, I said, if you've played the first one, it will be cool for you to play this game. Like at the end, you'll be like, oh, cool.
And I feel like I played enough of the original Bioshock to where I got everything. So what they explain to you as you go to Rapture is, hey, there's all these different worlds, and they all have a Comstock.
Exactly.
And what's interesting that being a Christian, obviously the whole game, I'm like, oh gosh, this is what people think of crazy Christians. And then you're getting baptized in the name of Comstock everywhere. And then you jump to this one world where this guy tries to baptize you in the name of Jesus. And you're like, oh gosh. And for me, it was just really chilling because it's saying that Jesus is Comstock, which of course I hate as a Christian,
Yeah.
But,
and I didn't, I see what you're saying. Like I understand the symbolism that they were trying to put across, but
yeah,
they made it clear that Comstock was a crazy person. Like,
yes,
that's not, he wasn't doing God's work, essentially.
Right. And that, yeah.
Love thy neighbor as yourself doesn't mean rain fire down on him. So
exactly.
It's obvious that Comstock was an extremist,
twisted,
crazy guy.
Which happens to a lot of, if you look at the foundations of many religions, they're all welcoming at first, and then they get a little power and want to start turning on people. Anyway,
exactly.
And you find out from hopping into these different worlds that there's a DeWitt for every world. There's an Elizabeth for every world, and there's a Comstock for every world. And they've all played out their lives differently.
Mm-hmm.
And, gosh, the DeWitt that you're playing could have been baptized and didn't get baptized. And so he doesn't go into this religious weirdness. Is that kind of what you take away from it?
That's exactly it. So basically, he doesn't get baptized, and at some point in time, he has a daughter.
Yeah, named Anna. And this is where it starts getting a little foggy for me as far as understanding. You have a debt from gambling, is how he explains it earlier in the game. And I don't even know how to explain it, but the Lutessas want your daughter because an older version of yourself,
who is Comstock,
who you come to find out is Comstock. So DeWitt in a different life baptizes himself and changes his name. As much as for those that know the Bible, fine. For those that don't, let me explain it to you. In the Bible, some people, some of Jesus's disciples changed their names, and that's what happens in this. Saul becomes Paul, Simon becomes Simon Peter, and so in this game, DeWitt becomes Comstock after he's baptized, and when he's baptized, he goes crazy, drunk with power. But the only thing I didn't understand was why he was sterile in some worlds and in some worlds not sterile. Because obviously he had Anna. Well,
I thought in every... Well, no, see, he's not sterile when he's young because he hasn't been experimenting with the
so in some worlds, a young DeWitt had a baby. In some worlds,
yes, and it didn't. Seems to me in every world, Comstock comes to get her. That's what it seems to me, anyway.
Because it's just a vicious cycle, is what they end up telling you.
I think so. Because I think, gosh, this is so much to explain. After I finished this game, I was looking for a book on the game so I could read it.
No, seriously. Yeah.
But basically what I took from it is that in every instance, Comstock is going to come get Elizabeth.
Unless you kill Comstock when he's young.
Exactly. And that was where the Daisy story fit in, because she said you gotta kill him at the seed. Exactly.
Yeah, kill the seed.
So he's saying, I'm gonna go smother Comstock. Well, I guess Elizabeth,
when he's a baby.
Yeah, exactly. I guess Elizabeth knows at this point that you are Comstock.
Because I think once her powers unlock, and she says it at one point at the end, she goes, I can see all the doors and where they lead.
Yeah.
And so obviously the whole story comes together for her. And what's interesting is, so you're like, well, dang, I am the younger version of Comstock.
Exactly.
So to kill something would be, I would need to kill myself, right?
Yeah, that basically she had said that baptism that he took was the deciding factor. That was the split in the road. That was to either say, I'm going to be Booker DeWitt or I'm going to be Zachary Comstock. And
right.
So she said, at this point in time, at this decision, we're going to prevent Comstock from ever existing.
Right. And so an easy way to look at this for those that are like, what in the heck are they talking about? Think of the first Back to the Future. When he goes back in time and he takes that picture with him of himself and his sister and his parents, and his mom starts to fall for him in back of the day, and his picture starts to fade because he never existed. That's kind of what they're trying to do here.
Exactly.
Except they're doing it on purpose. Like, kill myself so that I never exist. And it's funny because so they baptize him, a bunch of Elizabeths from a bunch of different worlds, baptize him and hold him underwater and drown him. And you slowly see the Elizabeth starting to disappear, because if Comstock never lives and DeWitt never lives, then Elizabeth never lives.
The thing is you never see the last one disappear. That was the crazy part. I was like,
right.
Whoa.
The screen just goes black.
Yeah, it was just like, oh goodness. Actually, I can't even mention that because that's a spoiler. Never mind.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I think I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, I mean, that was, they're kind of holding it back from you just so you're like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like you do know, but you don't know, because when you play Bioshock Bioshock, the first one, I didn't finish that game, so I have no idea what's at the end of it. But
it's basically the same kind of story, just a little different. So
yeah. And so I'm guessing the guy that you're playing, are you playing DeWitt in Bioshock?
I don't want to spoil Bioshock though, like the original.
We'll talk about it off air.
Yeah, I can't spoil that.
But anyway, it was a great game. It was incredible.
I was completely blown away when I finished it. Since they basically create this big like thread. They basically just create this giant, discombobulated ball of yarn, and then at the end they just yank it and straighten it all out.
Yeah, and they're like, "Look, no knots."
Oh crap!
Okay, so quick question because I know you got to get out of here. Favorite vigor?
Electrocution, and it was in Bioshock too.
I never used the electrocution.
Yeah, I always used it.
I used possession.
That was the one that I wanted to use, but I never upgraded my salts. So
ever?
No.
You know what's funny? I never upgraded my shield.
I always upgraded my shield and health.
I only did health and salts.
Yeah, I just I
loved using it. I loved using the vigors after a while.
Oh, and possession was really awesome. It's just that since I never upgraded my salt, I only got to use it twice before it ran out. So I was like,
Oh, and you never upgraded it? Because you could upgrade it and it would be breaking
but
to
it
like
would cost
4.
less. Yeah, I didn't do that either.
I love possession, and then at the end of the game, actually, when you're fighting, especially when you're fighting, Elizabeth's mom, I used Murder of Crows a lot. Because I'd upgraded it enough to where if Murder of Crows killed someone, then they became a trap of Murder of Crows.
Yeah, I should have done that because I upgraded that as well, and I just didn't use it anymore. So I should have tried that.
Yeah,
Actually, no, my favorite vigor. Now take that back. My favorite vigor was the send back at you thing.
Oh yeah, you got that so late though.
Yeah, you did, but it was extremely effective at the end.
Yeah, the shield.
Because basically, I just used it as a shield.
Yeah, it collected the bullets that were shot at you. Kind of, I was saying, you weren't here, but for my favorite movie, I said The Matrix. And the send it back to you is very Matrix-like because he just kind of collects the bullets in his hand and throws them back at the person.
Yeah, exactly.
It's awesome.
That was sweet.
Dude, Bioshock Infinite, spoiled and talked about.
Actually, the crazy thing was I explained the story to Krista because I mean, she doesn't watch me play just like every other wife in the world, but
almost every other. We've seen.
Yeah, I explained the story to her, and she was just like, "Wow, that's amazing."
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how I could explain it to Jenny. I don't even know how.
I don't know how I was able
it.
to either, but she watched the little spoiler explanation video that Ed sent us. She watched
How is
it
that?
with me.
I didn't watch it yet. Is it good?
It brings together a lot of that stuff. Like, a lot of it I already knew. Like, a lot of it was pretty obvious.
Right.
But like the heads or tails thing, like I didn't pick up on that. Yeah. So it definitely fills in all those gaps. So I recommend.
You know what's interesting about the heads or tails thing, though? It's a little counter. It's a little like not hypocritical, but like
it's a little counterintuitive to their argument that there are
because
variables.
if DeWitt can live different lives, then what makes that coin flip the same way every single time?
I know. That's what I was confused about. So,
unless you hit them at the same time in every life, and the wind's blowing the same, and you know what I'm saying?
The weather's the same, and
yeah, but some worlds you're underwater. I mean, the gravity would be different. Anyway, that's getting into some stupid stuff. But
don't know.
Oh man, I loved it.
Yeah, I was so blown away by the game, especially like I said, when that last little bit came together. I was just like, mind blew up. I was just like, what?
I totally understood what people were saying when they were like, this game's great, the end is crazy. Because I did like the game a lot already, but I was ready for something to break loose, if that makes any sense. Like, I felt like, okay, I'm just going through a story, and then once the end hit, or you feel the end ramping up and they start revealing stuff, you're like, oh, here it is. This is what everybody was talking about, you know?
Exactly. It just, the cogs in my brain just
clicked.
Blew up.
Yeah.
Well, they clicked and then they blew up.
Exactly.
I was just like, you got to be kidding me.
I just remembered that game is still down in my car, and I didn't return it last night.
Oh, crap.
Extra $2 is okay by me.
Yeah. I literally paid $3 for this rental. So
I know. I think
I'm happy.
Total, I would have paid $10 by the time I end this, which is awesome.
Man, it's so good. That is a game that I will. Well,
now I'm excited about the DLC. I think.
Yeah,
but also I don't want to mess with the story because the DLC's got to be before the end now.
Yeah, and I don't know. Goodness,
it's okay. We'll see.
Just such an amazing game, and
you gonna write a song about it?
Good. Possibly.
I think you should. Somebody hit us on Facebook. They were like, good game to write a song about. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll do it. It was great. But, Last of Us, I was looking forward to for like a year. And it came out and, was still amazing.
I was really looking forward to Infinite too. I really kind of wish I would have got it right away and played it.
Yeah, been a part of the hype.
Yeah, it just sucks that so much was coming out, like so much has been coming out. Like it's hard for people in our situation, obviously, kids and wives and 9-to-5s. For me, minus the kids, but it's just so hard for people in our situation to find time to sit down and play 12-hour experiences. I mean, think about it. A 12-hour game, that's like watching a season of a show all at once.
Oh yeah, sure.
That's hard to do.
Yeah, of course. Hard to find the time. In a season of television you can watch with your wife.
Exactly.
It makes it a little easier actually.
It does make it a little easier. Oh boy.
All right. Well, you ready to get up out of here?
Yeah. We about this thing, peace.
For Gabe Patillo, that's Timothy Hall. Where's Tim Router at? Hopefully playing Bioshock Infinite by now. He needs to get on it so he can listen to this spoiler cast on his own podcast. It's ridiculous. Thank you guys for listening. 051 and Bioshock Infinite in the books. We will holler at y'all next week. We are up out this thing. Peace!